Welcome everyone. Welcome. This is OMG Live, the quarantine edition. I am Richard Ragoobarsingh. I nearly didn't say my name properly there. Ragoobarsingh. I am Richard Ragoobarsingh, welcoming you to OMG Live, the quarantine edition, to hang out together. Come in and join us. Call a friend and join us in the line. Come on.
Yeah, and I'm Richard Young here in Maracas Valley, welcoming and thanking you for joining us today. Remember, we are on Monday to Fridays, 2 to 3 p.m., right here on OMG on Facebook. We appreciate you and every one of you. Thanks so much for being here. And to our lovely ladies, Richard, you introduce yourself, darling. Penny?
Hi, I am Penelope Spencer. I am coming to you from Diego Martin, where we just had a little small shower. And I am here, well, ready to entertain and educate you all. Vaughnette?
Vaughnette here from Library, always in Library.
She's so tired, like she traveled.
Like she traveled to get to library.
Vaughnette here.
She just read.
Oh, God,
well, hi everybody. Cecilia here in sweet little luscious Pity Valley, giving thanks and praises for another beautiful day in Trinidad and Tobago. And on this planet.
Yeah. And of course to the islands of the Caribbean and all those around planet Earth who are joining us, welcome. And thank you for joining OMG Live, the quarantine edition. It is our way of coming together to laugh, share, and build a community around our new situation. In today's show, we have some action movie classics in the Let's Play That Game segment, and they're easy. You all are supposed to get it. And if you get it right, you get to ask our panel a question. Any one of the panelists you see before you can ask any one of us a question. We have the right to rebuke the question, though. Just putting it out there.
Rebuke.
The writer swatted back.
We are also featuring the Mighty Sparrows singing an acoustic version of Gene and Dinah in honor of the passing of our friend, Tony Hall.
Yeah. And as usual, you'll see some hilarious videos from TikTok, plus we have a trailer of a new sci-fi thriller coming to your screens, and of course, lots of enlightening conversations to get you thinking. So please stay with us. This is OMG Live, the
quarantine edition.
Special shout out to Stephen Doobal in our master control. Welcome, Stephen Doobal. Of course, he's in our high-tech, very modern $1 million studio in Cunupia. He is the voice that you may hear in the background from time to time.
Making all this fabulosity possible.
Yes, all the flowers and wonderful.
Of course, this is a good time for those who are viewing us right now to share this live feed on your timeline. This is the point at which you discover the share button and you hit it and hit it and hit it. Share the feed on your timeline now. Spread the word to your friends and family. Over to you, Penny.
Before we get into today's show, please allow us to pay special tribute to Mr. Tony Hall. He has had a significant impact on many of our lives. Growth and the development of theatre and the arts in Trinidad and Tobago. Yesterday, due to a fatal heart attack, he left many of us very stunned and with a deep sense of grief. The local theatre fraternity has had such significant losses over the past couple of years. It is really hard to come to terms with the losses of our dear friends, and dare I say our theatre family. It will have a significant impact on local theatre as we move forward. Tony was extremely special to all of us. I mean, I knew Tony from Banyan, seeing him on Banyan and seeing that what he did and and the acting, and I was really enamored about him, and especially knowing that he was from San Fernando as well. He's a Naps boy, as he always said. And then I heard he was doing this play called Gene and Dinah, and I was saying to somebody one time, I'll never forget it, walking down Victoria Avenue going to the Space Theatre, that is a play that I could do. Why didn't call me for that boy? But then they had Susan Sandiford and Roma Spencer. They were rehearsing for the play. And then about 2 weeks before the play was supposed to open, I get this call, and I'm like, what? Wow, I could not believe it. They wanted me to play the part of Jean because Susan was not ready to do the performance. And I know Tony was in a tickle, and Roma suggested that I read for it because she knows me from that ability. So I met Tony, and from that day on, 25 years later, Tony has been a part of my life. We've done many and many plays. Dragon Can Dance. We did. We went to Canada. The last thing we did, we went to Canada to do Marcus Garvey and Amy Garvey. Yeah, Tony I just there's a little end of what I could talk about Tony and his brilliance, and I really think that he should be celebrated like Derek Walcott or Vishnu Naipaul, because he has created so much great work in this country, and people don't even know the amount of significance that this man has and to the theater in Trinidad and Tobago. Cecilia?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow, no, that's so well said. So well said, Penny, because Tony is a legacy and he's a treasure. He's a treasure to us all. And he couldn't get a job here. But so he worked for Trinity College in Connecticut, where both Penny and I got the opportunity to travel to do plays. My story is a lot like Penny's in that I think our lives were meant to come together. I met Tony many years ago, and actually when I was in university, a professor I was doing a course with in mask work, his name came up, Tony Hall. I was like, who is this? I have to go and look him up when I reach back to Trinidad. And then I worked with Callaloo Company, and I wore the same costume Tony wore, the white Pero that he wore in 1990 for Tantana. I wore the same costume. And then I auditioned for Twilight Cafe. And that was a strange play. That was a play that had no beginning, no ending. I was like, this man is totally crazy. But over the years, Tony became more than a mentor to me. He's my friend and accomplice. I was looking for someone to do Miss Miles because I had this idea of this heroine, this Trinidad and Tobago woman who could write this play. And I met Tony in 2001, 2006. We actually started working on the script of Miss Miles. It took us 5 years of working with Tony. I have never worked with a director where we delved so deep into the characters, into life, into what acting is, into the craft. He's the Juve process, which I still continue to teach my children. So we did Miss Miles, and I'd like to read you just a little bit from the ending of Miss Miles, where Miss Miles transitions. She dies. I had heart problems just before we did this play, having my last daughter. And Tony said, I can't write this, Cecilia. We'll write it together. And these are the last lines. My heart is enlarged. It is too heavy. It cannot keep this up anymore. So my heart attacks me gently, and I give up the ghost.
Thank you.
I just feel as if when I asked Tony how to act that, this is the note he gave me. I have to read it for you all. A neverness. A neverness out of body. We had all these deep discussions. And he wrote this when his mother was passing. So I just keep this there because I feel as if I have, you know, a piece of Tony here with me.
I mean, of course, I would have met Tony being part of theater, and my interaction with Tony has always been in informal situations where we have just happened to meet at some place, and we would talk. And my conversations with Tony was always about plays and the story, and how you craft a story. And he, I of course I would have written a few plays in my time. You know, I took such a long while before I was willing or confident enough to call myself an actor, and you take even a longer while before you can call yourself a playwright. And I always listened intently to what he would tell me, and he would discuss story. And I suppose because he felt I was a writer in terms of some of the work that he would have seen from me. And so we always had these discussions about storytelling, the arc of storytelling, and the Caribbean having a way to tell its own story. And I will always remember those conversations. Of course, I saw a lot of his plays. I mean, from Gina and Dinah to Twilight Cafe, that Cecilia was just talking about. And it always makes an impression because he didn't just necessarily go for a traditional way of telling the story. You know, it was a Tony Hall way of crafting it, using, because he was so knowledgeable in the craft, he could tell a story in a way, in a different, his own unique style, and take the chances to delve into the different ways of telling a story. And so that's what I remember of Tony. And of course we have some other. Yes, Cecilia.
The thing, I was just gonna say, you said he was so knowledgeable, and the best thing about him is he had no ego. He had no ego. You know, he said, I don't know nothing. That's what he used to tell me all the time. So anytime I felt like I didn't know why I chose this life, I would call Tony. And I thank God that I spoke to him up to Thursday for like 2 hours on the phone. I bothered this poor man. I talk, and he said, you can call me anytime. Yes, walk in your power. Keep going.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
And I think for the vast majority of Trinidadians and Tobagonians, they don't know what we have lost.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a clue what we have lost.
Yeah.
I've been saying that.
Yes.
Go ahead, Richard. Sorry, I was saying this to somebody that
No, go ahead, Penny.
That we have, Tony was like this library of knowledge in acting, knowledge in writing, knowledge in casting, knowledge in telling a story. Tony was this brilliant human being who was passionate about everything, and he was never afraid to show the passion. And he said, Penny, talk in your word. To say, I was saying, Tony, I want to write. He says, write it. We'll figure it out. All the little intricacies of writing after, just write it. You know, he would just push you to do whatever you want to do and just do it to the best. Yeah.
That is so true, Penny. I wanted to sing in a Calypso tent, and Tony made it happen. I sang as Jean Miles, a song written by Stalin. Tony arranged this, and I got to sing in a tent.
I saw your performance. I remember that, Cecilia. So of course we have Christine.
By Maury Hall. I have to say music was by Maury Hall. Tony's wonderful stuff.
So we have Christine Johnson standing by.
I've known Tony for more years than I care to mention. He's always been a rock, a person that you can turn to for advice, for support, to help in whatever way he could. And once he could, he would. There was never a no from Tony. The first time we worked closely together was when I produced Red House Fire Fire for him at the Normandy. And that was quite an experience. But it was it was a really fulfilling thing to take Tony's work and bring it to life and just work towards making it happen. There were challenges like you wouldn't believe. I mean, we built a red house frame with scaffolding and red fabric, and it was a really quite an experience. And all in all, I think he was very pleased with it. I was very happy to work on it, and we got closer after that. A few years later, I produced Twilight Cafe for him with Cecilia and Wendell Etienne, and again another phenomenal experience. And you know, his vision is so clear, and he had such a grasp on what he wanted and how he felt about his work and what he felt, what he needed to say. It really was a delight to work with him. We've kept close over the years. He's been, I don't know, he's been a wealth of comfort, of knowledge, of nurturing, of of support. I don't know. Trinidad and Tobago, we don't know what we've lost. It's almost indescribable. I have no more words. Goodbye, Tony. Walk good, as you would say.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe we're doing this on virtually, are you all?
Yeah. Well, I had little interaction with him. When I did my first major production, which was a fashion event for the University of the West Indies, when I was there, Banyan was hired to help promote and produce the show, and that was the first time there were like 18 designers in a show with about 60 or 70 models. So they kind of guided me through the whole publicity of the show. And then I constantly met him along the way up to working at the UTT. And his very good friend and my very good friend, a friend in common, Dr. Susan Burke, there was a lot of discussion about cultural policy, and I would be privy to the intelligence of this knowledgeable man. He's truly a luminary. And he always said that you work in theater but on the fringe, and you know, so he made me feel good of getting a comment from him, a recommendation. I felt really honored and special. So that's as much I can say, and it's really a loss. I listened to Errol Fabian last night and Gail talking about him, and I reached out, and it was really touching hearing Roman and that. So yeah, we have Wendell Manwaring, who another one of our theater community. He has a few.
Greetings, Wendell Manwaring. Saying a few words for someone I consider a mentor, a friend, very wise, giving human being. Tony Hall. I was thinking, I don't even know how long I know Tony. I know him a long time. Certainly, maybe it was since Minstrel Days, Antimanite, Carnival is Color. But, you know, over the years, Tony has been incredibly encouraging and supportive and we would have long talks, long talks. And he would, I remember when I first wanted to do the Tricanal show, he was one of the first people I called for advice as to how to proceed, and he just gave so freely of himself. And within recent times, he would fall in the box, spend a whole day. Sometimes, we talk all kind of things, carnival and whatnot. But the last conversation I had with him was a long phone conversation. It was just around the time of the lockdown and the pandemic. And at the end of the talk, we hung up and he sent me a little note, and I'd like to share that. He says, "There is a possibility for there to be a settling into the essence of the universe. The effort that may be put into trying to make this happen is the main obstacle to it happening. Take it light. There is a possibility for there to be a settling into the essence of the universe. The effort that may be put into trying to make this happen is the main obstacle to it happening. Take it light." And then he said, "Be safe. Juve forever. Relax Safari." Tony, be safe. Juve forever. Relax Safari.
Juve forever, boy.
Relax, Safari.
He used to say that every day was a day for Juve. Every morning was a chance for Juve.
I don't know. There's something about me. Of the five of us on this panel, I mean, I don't want to make any pronouncements that may be incorrect, but of the five of us on this panel, I don't know why, I just get the feeling that I may just be the youngest. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have the experience of working with him personally, because I'm not too much into theater. I met him once, and I remember when I met him, it was like I was in awe, because it's like you grew up looking at this person on TV, you grew up hearing about this person works, but you've never met him. It's almost like I couldn't even talk when I saw him. It was like, okay, I am just really, really sad. And I'm sad too that it happened. I mean, death is inevitable. But I'm sad too that it happened around this time where we can't celebrate his life and embrace each other as he would probably want it to happen. And I think that makes me really sad. It also makes me really sad because I always believe that we are a space, we are a country that really only pay attention or give people the glory that they deserve when they are no longer here to see or hear what we really feel about them. And stuff like that makes me sad all the time, because we really should be spending time celebrating our people for the contribution that they are making while they are here. So it makes me really, really, I felt the loss, even though I met him only once, but because I know of his work. It's like you grew up knowing about Tony Hall, apart from the fact that he was from South, and how we South people like to claim each other, especially when we do great and brilliant things. So I feel sad. I feel sad for all of you, for the fact that you would have known him personally. So this, apart from the loss that you're experiencing as a theater practitioner, you're also experiencing the loss of a friend, the loss of a loved one, the loss of somebody who you could have called, So I guess it's Relax Safari. I have to say, I like that though. I might just steal that. I might just steal that. I like that.
You don't have to be dressed to be Rasta.
Yeah.
Relax Safari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
As we all spoke here today, it reminds me of an interview that Oprah Winfrey did with Maya Angelou, where she says, if you learn, then teach. And I think Tony Hall certainly did that, because he would teach at every and any opportunity. And also she spoke of the passing of her mother and the importance of knowing that love liberates. And that when we love people, truly love them, we must liberate them and let them go in peace, joy, and love. Take a look at this.
My mother, when she was in her final sickness, I went out to San Francisco, and the doctor said she had three weeks to live. I asked her, would you come to North Carolina? She said yes. She had emphysema and lung cancer. I brought her to my home. She lived for a year and a half. And when she was finally in extremis, she was on oxygen and fighting cancer for her life. And I remembered her liberating me. And I said, I hope I'll be able to liberate her. So in her last days, I said, now, I understand that some people need permission to go. You may have done what God put you here to do. You were a great worker. You must have been a great lover, because a lot of men, and if I'm not wrong, maybe a couple of women, risk their lives to love you. You were a piss-poor mother of small children, but you were a great mother of young adults. And if you need permission to go, I liberate you. I went back to my house, and something said, go back. I was in my pajamas. I jumped in my car and ran, and the nurse said, she's just gone. You see, love liberates. It doesn't bind. Love says, I love you. I love you if you're in China. I love you if you're across town. I love you if you're in Harlem. I love you. I would like to be near you. I'd like to have your arms around me. I'd like to hear your voice in my ear. But that's not possible now. So I love you. Go.
Wow.
Right.
I'm sorry, that just took me back. That took me back. It took me back to my mother's death when she spoke. Yeah, so
we send our love out to his wife Mary and his beautiful children, Maury and Lindsay, and his grandchild. We send all our love out to his family and to all the people all over the world, because Tony worked all over the world, y'all. He worked all over the world. He was in Norway, Costa Rica, where else? Connecticut. He was always somewhere. So he left his mark. So there are people all over the world grieving. Milareggio, Paolo, all of you in Connecticut, we know Marie, we know everybody out there is a little piece of Tony is everywhere, and we are all grieving. And but love, you're right, love sets us free. And
Yeah, it's that was real deep and hard, and to listen, difficult to listen. And I just hope that people just love each other after this. Just love each other, not be afraid to say I love you. We have our little group that we just share love all the time, every second. People just love each other and give each other and support each other. Because whatever people have to say about you after you die will go a long way. And Tony,
yeah.
I mean, the kind of tribute, like, please let's just go on with the show.
Yeah. During yesterday's show, we had some very important VIPs, some very important points of view on Facebook. So let's take a look at them.
And we have Franklin Jagdio from QREP. And Franklin says, I went to the bank and it has people that are going in there not wearing masks. I find it should be mandatory to wear it as long as you go outside.
Definitely
Yes.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Who's next? Elise. Elise Lewis Hicks. She lives in Sweet Home, Oregon. She says, why don't artists come together and do a telethon style something to raise funds in this time? Yes, Elise, I think that's a great idea, and we are going to do something. Right, ladies and gents? To
Yeah.
raise funds for
Definitely.
artists.
Yeah.
One for artists. Dominic LaRoche says, thanks a lot for always stimulating the senses, even in times when we might be in a one-dimensional vein of thinking. Thank you, panel. Thank you, Dominic, for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
So let's see what's going on Facebook, on social media. If we could take a look at that, Vaughnette and Richard.
Yeah, most people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
commenting
Yeah.
about this. We have Natasha Thomas saying this is a sad day. Verna St. Rose Graves, of course. Arlene Wilkes sending love and light. Roxanne Herbert says, let's remember his role in the movie Avril with Hugh Robertson. Arlene Nicholas says, life is sweeter with love. Verna St. Rose says again, I know it's dead air, but it's okay to be silent. The silence is deafening. We love him and we love you. Wonderful tribute, Marie Chan Durity says. Dominic LaRoche
Hi,
says we
Marie.
must begin to acknowledge and celebrate our creative and cultural icons. I agree, Dominic. Arlene Nicholas says we are making her cry. Sorry, Arlene. That was not the intention at all. Anybody else you have there?
It's okay to cry too, right? It's okay.
So we have a lot of people on, a lot of people. Some of them we haven't had. We have Lorraine O'Connor, Lisha Ghani, Robert Young, my brother, Terry David, dancer from South, Sean Edwards, Aaron Schneider, Kimo Ifitayo, Rachel Young, my sister, Stephen Williams, Carlene Williams, Aloy Johnson, June Pear, John Michael Thomas, Camille Selvon Abram is there, Mark Nottingham, Sabrina Celestin, Heidi Hackshaw, Daniel Diffentala, Celestin Joseph, Nydia Byron, a lot of people all wishing well, saying best to Tony and his family, and that the rest in peace, Roma Spencer. So we had a lot of people who came on to share with us, and we appreciate that, and thank you for being part of our show, particularly today.
Yeah.
You all right to go on?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everything kind of, the show must go online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move things along now and head over to Meanwhile at TikTok.
Well, of course, this is a really good day for TikTok. For the first clip, we see how some foreigners are affected after spending too much time in Trinidad and Tobago. Here is Chelsea Olivia W. on TikTok. Run it, Stephen.
It's my first day here on vacation in Trinidad and Tobago. Hi guys, was the scene? I've been here for a week in Trinidad and Tobago. Hey dog, what happened in Olia? I've been here for about a month here in Trinidad and Tobago. How many times I have to tell you, I'm a Trini now, I living down there and they go and have a potong in my yard. Boy, hell your mother, eh?
Interesting.
That's how we does talk. That is how we does talk.
I don't know.
Can we have a potong by you then? They go, girl.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if
You have several.
Yes, it's fun. TikTok is so much fun. I love that people have so much creative energy to spend and do these things. Yes, wow.
Yeah.
Next, this person found a magic plastic container. They put in some wool, a knitting needle, and some beads. shake it up and look at what they got. Here is Chemi 93 at TikTok.
Cute.
All right, let's go straight on.
If-
So some mothers are getting resentful of all the orders they are receiving from the members of their family, especially in quarantine time. Especially in quarantine time. So we found this mother hiding in the closet. Here is Fiona20 on TikTok. T20, Fiona T20 on TikTok.
Shh, I'm hiding from my husband and kids. Every single day. Hey babe, what's for lunch? Hey mom, what's for dinner? I'm not a flippin' chef. Eat some goldfish, like I do.
I know exactly how. Yes, I know exactly how she feels. Oh my Lord. Oh.
Mommy!
Mommy!
A lot of people are fed up of cooking.
Listen now.
Yeah.
I have a friend who says when they get up in the morning, she packing a lunch kit for her children, just like if they're going to school. She said, just like you're going to school, I'm packing your lunch kit. When the things in the lunch kit finish, that is it. Don't come and stress me.
That's exactly what I told my daughter. Thank you. I'm gonna do it because it's ridiculous. And they have little breaks in between the classes now, not even a full break, and she running out quick. Mommy. I'm like, no, it's not a break yet. Get back inside. It's so hard to keep the discipline going with this online thing, but we have to keep trying.
All right, people. That was TikTok, and that's how TikTok people have been passing the time. Let's move on to what's trending today.
But before we get into today's trending topics, I want to remind our online audience, you too can send us your whatever your thoughts are. Just email your video clips or voice notes and send it to info@omgtt.com with your name and contact information. And we'll see if we can feature it on OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition.
Here.
What's trending?
What's
trending? Other than Tony's
Yeah, so
that's the only thing that's trending.
what's trending? What's trending?
Exactly, dude. What's trending, y'all? Other than Tony Hall, what's going on with COVID?
That man who was taking the haircut on the promenade. Why is there a barber trimming a man on the promenade during this lockdown? I don't understand what is going on with our Trinidadians. As if we feel we are fearless. And God is not a Trini. Right now he's embarrassed with Trinidadians. You know, what do you all think about that?
Well,
he is known as the promenade barber. He's the promenade barber, apparently, but I didn't understand. He's the promenade barber. That's what the caption said in the newspapers today. And I was like, what? There's a promenade barber. And the man was sitting down there getting his haircut. I was a little confused, just like you, Penny. I was like, what?
Is it free
What
haircuts?
about social distancing? Even though...
Nah, it's not
free. Is it free haircuts? I don't know.
It's not free. Nah. Isabella.
And he had on a mask, but his customer was not wearing a mask. So I don't understand. And people walking up and down as if this is normal behavior. Why are we so ill-disciplined? What is going on with us? Why?
I find that it's
we are getting too complacent, Penny. We're getting too complacent, y'all. Is it because our figures have just stayed at one level, so everybody's just not worried anymore? Rich?
But I was just thinking, how could people that be interested in doing getting a haircut and so, because there have been some opening up in Atlanta, and most of the things that the clips I saw are people going to the barber, the hairdressers, and going to do their nails, and tattoo parlors are being open. I don't know how those things become the front line of things to go to and do at this time.
I mean,
a lot of men saying, yes, I need a haircut.
I mean, I totally understand that, you need your hair, women, some of us are like that, women who are out there, people always looking at us. I did my hair for the 16th of April. I wasn't making it the 30th. I didn't realize we were going to the 30th. Plan your hair, plan your nails. Yes. So, but it's not that important now. It couldn't be that important.
Yeah.
Richard?
But I bought a barbering machine. I bought that barbering machine, and I said, you know what? Do it at home. Zing, 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 zing. So that's what's taking place home. We are each other's barbers, so to speak.
Have to be responsible. This is what we are talking about.
That's what you had to do now.
Citizens.
I'm telling somebody I have to be so nice to my husband these days. So I have to be extra nice to my husband because is he cutting my hair? You understand? So I don't want him to remember all that I do some weeks ago, and when he asked me for something to eat and I was rude and zug up my head. So I so nice. If you're nice at talking to him, yes, love. Because is he cutting my hair?
What's going on with Trini's though? Do we feel like is it that we feel that things are the flattening of the curve process that has gone? Because a lot of people are not wearing masks up to today. I see people walking the road. Just these are videos that I'm looking at because I only go out when it's absolutely necessary because I'm in one of the groups. And you see, like Chris, what's going on with Trinis? We feel that we are safer. It's not safe. We're not hearing about second wave. What's going on?
Yeah. I don't know.
So that's what I am. I'm very fearful of what
about that as well, Penny.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what some of our the fans on social media saying. You have some comments there.
Yeah. Nikki Pauline Henry says COVID is bringing out hidden talent. She said my husband is also cutting my hair now. Raphael Bernadine says there's a conspiracy going around that Atlanta was reopened for more sinister reasons. I haven't heard of that. I'll check that out. Julia Cato says to some people that's the only thing to make them feel good, unfortunately. And she's talking about getting their hair done and getting the nails done and getting whatever. Lauren O'Connor says, I am longing for a pedicure though. I'm just saying. Roxanne Herbert says I saw a barber in a Mercedes van on Duke Street cutting a man's hair. Simone Donnellan thanks us for the beautiful tribute to Tony. Yeah. Thanks JD Celia for joining us. Ty Richards, Janine Charles Ferre. Hi Janine. Who do you have there? I don't know if because
I'm seeing Wendell Manwaring saying strength and powers to one and all. And there's some other people, Keon Simmons, Richard Ambrose, Brent Joel, Lisa Wickham, Jennifer Walker, Karen Bernard, Kiki Trim from Tobago, Vanessa Herbert. So people are still joining us and sharing in our tribute to Tony and saying they like what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah?
Thank you.
So I think it's time to play the game. Let's play that game.
So this is for all the lovely people who have joined us and are chatting with us and participating online. So guys, get ready. Today, our game is OMG, What's That Movie? We will show you a clip from an action movie and you have to tell us the name of the movie. Today's clips are very easy. Trust me, they are very easy. And so we're sure that you'll be guessing it right. If you get the answer right, you get to ask anyone on the panel, right on the sides of me here, any one of us, you could ask one of us a question. If you don't, you will learn something. Okay? So are we ready?
Yeah.
Master Control.
Yes, already.
Clip one.
All right, so run the first clip.
Trained assassins for thousands of years. You'll be given everything you need.
Curve the bullet.
To kill your target.
That movie was bad like Bobo.
Yeah, come on, people.
People should get that real quick.
Bad like Bobo.
That movie was real bad.
I remember the movie, but not the name. I can't remember the name.
Just over 10 years ago.
That movie was bad.
Yeah. Is anybody getting it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
The name of
So
the
we
movie
better
wasn't
move on.
Lisa Wickham got it.
Hey.
Yeah, she did.
All right, Lisa. Go, Lisa.
Tell everybody the name.
So Lisa Wickham,
The movie is Wanted.
the name of the movie is
Wanted.
Wanted.
That's it.
I did not know that name.
That movie bad.
So,
I know it was the movie with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
so Lisa Wickham, you get the opportunity to ask anyone on the panel a question. We'll move to clip number 2.
So what are you proposing?
It's simple. Kill the Batman. Here's my card.
Doesn't get
Oh,
easier
God.
than that.
Stephen, you give that away, man.
Better give away one.
Movie boy, the gambler.
All right, Sal.
I'm playing the fool.
There's Zoe. Is it Zoe? How do you pronounce that?
People, I knew people would. No, it's not. People are saying Joker, the Joker. It's not that.
No, that's not Joker.
Oh,
No,
it's
it's not
when I
that.
said the gambler, I'd throw them off.
Not Batman Returns.
That's not Joker.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Is it Batman Returns?
No.
Nope, it's not.
Oh, come on. That one
Nope.
easy.
I thought that was going to be
There's
real
a
easy.
Joker in the movie, but it's not the Joker.
But yeah, I think people's problem is that there's so many of that genre. They're not so sure which one it is. Yeah, I think that's their problem.
I'm not really big on these movies, but I remember this one because Heath Ledger.
That was his best performance.
Yeah.
She's giving hints.
Yes,
Somebody said Richard Constantine Ambrose said The Dark Knight.
Yay!
That's it. That's it.
These
Yeah, I
are
thought that would have been
dark
easy.
times.
Well, I would have never guessed that because I could have.
So get your question ready. Third clip.
I could have.
God didn't do this. We did.
I see that just the other day.
That's easy. That's
that one
easy. That's the easiest of the three.
I think
That's the
so too,
easiest of the
Richard.
three.
That was the easiest. Yeah.
I just watched that the other day, but I
Imagine
was so busy.
your
I was so busy
co-star,
watching Will
your
Smith.
co-star is a dog. Your co-star is a dog. I've had
Oh,
some
that's-
dogs in my time, but
Janine Ferry.
Sure.
Janine.
She got it.
Yeah.
I am legend.
Janine Charles Ferry.
Tell
I
them.
am legend.
Yeah.
I am legend.
All right, our time is running tight, so
Yeah.
Right.
So that was great. Let's check out quickly OMG Live on your screen while you get your questions, people.
Today's movie is one that you can look at if you have Amazon Prime. And of course, anyway, I'm going to hush my mouth. It is a new series
Thank you.
called Homecoming 2, starring Janelle Monáe. It is a sci-fi thriller series. Take a look.
Everything all right, miss?
What's your name?
I don't know.
What is your address?
I don't know.
How about your birthday?
I don't know.
We're trying to understand what happened to you.
I knew something was wrong with me, but I couldn't explain it to anyone. It was like the people around me were keeping a secret. Like we were in a movie. And everyone knew we were in a movie except for me. If I did something wrong, I have no idea what it is.
The complaint's been elevated. There's going to be an investigation.
It was hard for me to come down here, okay? There's no one I can... It's hard for me to talk about this. I'm sorry. Jesus, what are you into here?
I don't know.
You better think.
Trying to think.
This is all critical military technology.
They're in charge here, whether we like it or not.
And you like it.
What was I doing? Why was I there?
It's complicated.
How did we get here? What we did, no good can come of that.
But what if we let the crazy world in?
If you keep picking at this, it's gonna start bleeding.
Ooh.
Looks good. It looks interesting.
Yeah. It looked like something to watch. Yeah. So thank you for that, Stephen. I don't know where Stephen finds all of these upcoming trailers that sometimes I go looking for the movies after to see when they're on, and when they come on, I remember and I say, oh, I have to watch this.
That one, yeah.
It happened with the Willoughbys and it happened with Extraction. It happened with the Willoughbys and it happened with Extraction. Any questions yet?
Yeah, we will. I'm seeing one question for me here from Lisa Wickham, and she's asking, if you could go back in time, which period would you choose and why? And that's an easy question for me to answer. I tell people if I could go back in time, I'm going right back to my teenage years, because I spent so much of my teenage years wanting to grow up and wanting to be adult. And now, when I sit down and I'm 46 years old, when I sit down and I think about it, I think that those are some of the best years of my life. But I spent so much time there just trying to be something different that I didn't really fully understand and appreciate how beautiful it was to be in a space where I have the freedom to be and to do and to not have bills coming on my name and not have responsibility and all those kinds of things.
I wish you could go into secondary school. For another, I wish you could go into secondary schools and tell young people that. I had the same problem. That's why I got pregnant at 16, because I wanted to be so much of a big woman. You know, I wish some people could appreciate the youth. Yes, appreciate the youth, because that's what a lot of young people do. They want to be so much older, where they could just treasure their lives right now. Treasure your teenage years.
I think there's another question from Vaughnette. Another question from Vaughnette from Richard Ambrose in St. Lucia, asking what is your favorite play and why?
And I have a number of favorites, but my number one would be America Dance, simply because it was, to be honest, I hadn't been exposed to many plays before my first time going to see America Dance. And when I went to see America Dance, it was the first time I really, really understood that I could experience a range of emotions, from happiness to joy to sadness to terror to it. It was such a wonderful experience that every single time it comes back, I go back and I experience the same thing over and over again. I don't know any of the people who would have been involved in the play. I don't know any of the lead actors, but I love them.
You're sitting with the whole cast. The whole cast.
Wow, yes. We all want to see.
I agree with you, Vaughnette. I agree with you. Young people should hear you.
Richard,
I want to do a quick shout out because we have to wrap the show. I have to do a quick shout out. Jennifer Walker, I think, was her first day logging in from Barbados, and she sent condolences on because of Tony. We have Vanderneil Gardner from Antigua and Richard Ambrose from St. Lucia. So our Caribbean brothers and sisters are there. So I think we have to wrap up.
Before we go on, we have one question. If Richard could answer Janine's question quickly, she's asking Mr. Ragoobarsingh, as a theater producer, how do you think the theater experience may change in the aftermath of COVID-19 for the production and for the audience? That's
we gotta save that one for
tomorrow.
That's something
that's difficult to answer.
We have 3 minutes.
We just have to wait and see. Yeah, we have been having a lot of discussions on that because, to get people comfortably enough to come back into theaters. And Nikki Crosby had said that she had heard in the last time that there was a pandemic, entertainment was one of the last ones, and coming to the theater was one of the last ones that people were comfortably enough to come to sit down next to each other. So it's a big thing in our mind that we're thinking and talking about.
Thank you so much,
everybody. Let's go.
Ragu.
So that's it.
All right, so let's go to our next segment. So I was thinking.
No.
No,
we're out of time.
I'm thinking. Sorry. We're thinking up today. You're so right.
I want to say,
so that's it, folks.
I want to say bye to everybody. Thank you so much to all friends who have reached out, to all of us friends all over the world. Thank you so much, and keep reaching out to each other, please.
Absolutely. So that's it, folks, and thanks to those who watched and took part. And please, we want our viewers to join us. Send us your comments, voice notes, or video clips, or your thoughts and perspectives, and email it to info@omgtt.com so we can share it on OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition.
And thanks to OMG crew of Stephen Doobal and Canupia for making this possible. If the Facebook Live edition of your show was a little glitchy, you can watch a smooth recorded version on YouTube. Just go to OMG TV TT. Today we leave you with the mighty Sparrow singing Gene and Dinah, a tribute to the passing of our friend Tony Hall. Here is the mighty Sparrow and Lord Superior on the rooftop of the Hilton in 2014. Bye. Ladies.
Bye, people.
Everybody say bye-bye.
Bye. Live and love.
Relax, Farai. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. right here at OMGTT on Facebook. And to see today's show and all our past shows, please go to Vimeo or YouTube at OMG TV TT. All there for you to enjoy on demand. Thank you again, everyone. As we always say at OMG,
let's be
kind to each other, TNT. That's actually the closest.
Well, the girls in town feeling bad. No more Yankees in Trinidad. They're gonna close down the base for good. Them girls have to make out how they could. Hey, brother, is now they park up in town. In for a penny and in for a pound. Believe me, it's competition for so. Trouble in the tongue and the price drop low. So when you bounce up Gene and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, round the corner posing, bet your life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broken, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. I said the Yankees gone and Sparrow take over. Oh God, ha 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 ha. Things bad is to hear them cry. The sailor in tongue, the nightclub's dry. Only West Indians like me or you go in to get a drink or two. Brothers, we have things back in control. I seeking revenge with my heart and soul. When I spread the news around, is to see how them cavemen come in the tongue. Just to meet Miss Jean and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, round the corner posing.